Hello and welcome to Retro Racing Reviews, and this week we're going to be taking a look at one of the first driving games I ever bought, F-Zero on the Super Nintendo. We're going to be looking at an entire championship season just to give you a flavour of what the game is all about. And firstly, I just have to say that the soundtrack to this game is absolutely fantastic. It really does capture the mood of what we're going for. You've got 4 cars to choose from. I always go for the Blue Falcon because, quite frankly, I think it's the coolest looking one. We're going to go for the Kingly because it has some more interesting tracks, and I am going to up it to standard because beginner is a little bit too easy, given the fact I've, well, when I was a lot younger, finished the whole thing on hard level, but I haven't played this for quite some time, so rather than blowing my own trumpet, let's get cracking. Now you can see instantly that the visual style is very futuristic, coupled with the music. It's something that nobody would have really quite seen before this showed up. A lot of driving games tend to be of the pole position variety or similar, with more of a focus on real life cars and tracks. The rare occasions where you got something different was something like, for example, Jeff Crammond's Stunt Car Racer, which had a very different aesthetic, but it was still grounded in having wheels and a track where you had to bear in mind banking, jumps, etc. Now, F-Zero is decidedly different from that. Everything is done in a hover car, everything is done with jet thrusters, and you have air brakes to get you to turn, and that does, the explodey. All of the explosions and more of the explosions are the occupational hazards of this game. If you see one of the cars that looks a little bit sort of turtle shell shaped that I've just gone past, they are cars 5 through infinity effectively, and they also crop up as in their orange versions as back markers. If they are flashing purple, not that one, that's one of the other main drivers. If they come and they flash purple, they will explode if you crash into them, and they will hurl you off the sides of the map if you should trip over them. In this instance, I've just used one of the turbo boosts to go straight through the infield, which will slow you down otherwise, just so I can make up a bit of ground on the leaders. Just keep a wide berth of that one, just making sure I don't run into them. Each of the 4 vehicles, as was the want at the time, has slightly different handling characteristics. The Blue Falcon is the proper all-rounder. Then there's the Golden Fox, which accelerates really quickly, but doesn't steer quite as well, and also doesn't have a very high top speed. There's the, I believe it was the Grey Goose, was the green one, and that had slightly higher top speed, slightly slower acceleration, and overall was a pretty good all-rounder. And then the sort of pinky purple car was the slowest of the lot to get off the line, but also could reach the highest top speeds if you could keep it going in a straight line. Very much the sort of Donkey Kong Bowser if you're looking at it from a Mario Kart perspective. Obviously you have to try and avoid these exploding pizzas on the floor. I can only assume they're pizzas. I don't know what else they are otherwise, but managed to do a good job of it that time round, using the air brake to get a bit of leverage around the corner, and taking the first race, having nearly made a complete mess of it a bit earlier on. One of the things that you do very much find with this game is that in classic driving game fashion, it has rubber band AI. All rubber band AI effectively means is that you can never really fall too far behind the competition, but by the same token you can never really get too far ahead of them. They're always effectively waiting around the corner for you to catch up, and they're always right on your tail if you decide to, as I do, drive into the sides of the scenery. Deathwind, which is where we are at the moment, is notable because there's a there is a deadly wind blowing across the track, and as you can see from how I'm almost driving at a bit of an angle, it does mean that you have to recalibrate to compensate for the wind that is constantly trying to push you off the track. also with those very, very narrow parts of the circuit, it's difficult to follow somebody else closely. And one of the things F-Zero also does is it means that if you hit anybody else, you have this momentum which would send you off into the barriers if you hit somebody and didn't correct. So it means that as the computer players do tend to wander around all over the track, and you do just sometimes slingshot your way into back markers like that, it can make it very difficult sometimes to pull off a clean overtake. As you see here, I've just about managed to do that by threading my way through the middle of those two. All the check means is just to say that you've got a competitor right behind you, which I've managed to drop at this stage, and every time that you complete a lap, the position that you can finish in actually goes down. I don't know why I just drove straight into that guy again, but never mind. I'm rapidly running out of energy as I keep hitting everything, so I've got to try and stop. Oh no, as he says, try to stop it, he does it even worse. So all it means is I've got to finish 7th or higher on this lap to mean that I actually stay in the race. So the ways you can lose are either keep crashing into the wall, keep finish too low down for your position, so you've got to finish at least 3rd by the end of the race in this instance. So not a convenient place to try and overtake this other exploding car. I'm really in some serious trouble here because I'm rapidly running out of energy and I keep crashing into the barriers. When you go into power down mode, like I've just done here because I'm not doing this very well, you essentially are in a position where come on, oh no stay clear. You do lose a bit of speed, and it's very much a case of if you make any further mistakes you are going to blow up. So I've got to finish 3rd at least to get through, so let's just do a bit of pedal to the metal to get past those so I can get into this section of so I can get into this section of the course, hopefully get to the recharge zone before I explode. Oh no unfortunately if you get pelted from behind like that, it does make it very difficult. I had another go at this and shortly afterwards won the race. So this is all in the same set of lives, so I haven't gone back and continually recut this to make myself look good. It is very much a case of I just fast forwarded through the rest of the races. You'd already seen 5 laps of me trying and failing. So we're now going to move on to the next track in the list. Just so you know, the bit that flashes pink indicates it's your fastest lap. I hope that was clear, but just wanted to point that out. So there are some tracks in this that have jumps, and as you'll see in this instance, I've managed to I managed to completely mess that jump up. So I managed to lose before I actually got to the first corner. So I think that's a first. So after this race, there will be more tracks with jumping on there, but I'm going to show you the final lap. Once again, I'm in a battle with the Golden Fox for the win. Again, one of the things that Nintendo games of this era tended to do was that regardless of the car you pick, whichever car you picked, you'd always have a certain order that the other computer players would finish in. So if you say, for example, if you did Mario Kart, as I pinball my way off the scenery, if you did Mario Kart and you picked Toad, for example, I was a big fan of playing as Toad. The Princess was always 2nd, Donkey Kong was always 3rd, and everybody else would always make up the rest of it. As I pinball off the scenery and come through and take 2nd place overall. So again, hard fought, but I managed to get through that just about. But you can see when you start to pinball your way off the scenery in the very narrow sections, it does make it very difficult to actually try and get to the finish without blowing up. That's if you don't fling yourself off the circuit in the meantime. Red Canyon is I quite like this track because it does have some very, very tight technical turns, but if you get them right, they can be very, very satisfying. You see what I was trying to do there was trying to cut the corner a little bit like that. If you manage to do it like that, that is very, very good indeed. Now the problem with this the problem with this bit is that if you once again crash into the Golden Fox, you're going to go straight off the track. So let's pick this up as I desperately try and stay on track and bring it home to take my third win out of 4 races. And once again, you'll see that I've pelted off the scenery quite a number of times, but managed to go faster and faster by the end of the race. And we now move on to Firefield, which is the hardest track in the entire game. As you can see from the minimap in the bottom left, this is a doozy. The track is pretty narrow at the best of times, and it has a lot of different obstacles and exploding pizzas from the word go. Now this is very much what I mean in terms of the Golden Fox is very difficult to get past at the best of times, and technical turns like that do give you an opportunity. It also means that it can slow you down quite significantly. I've already lost about a third of my health bar. It's only halfway through lap 1 if that. And unfortunately the computer cars don't let up. They will just barge straight past you. And no, they can't die. You can't kill them. At least not that I've ever found out. If you do work out how to kill the computer cars, please let me know, because I would dearly like to get rid of a few of them. You'll see once again, as I've now been passed for 4th place, it's one of the turtle cars, for want of a better word. And now that I've gone past, we should start seeing back markers cropping up from this lap onwards. Now that was obviously quite a lengthy lap as things go. The average lap in F-Zero, it tends to be about 35 to 45 seconds on average, depending on the track and the complexity. And once again, I could have done that a little bit better, and also I didn't account for the fact that the computer will try and evade the obstacles, which is what it was trying to do there. I'm powered down, and okay, this is a little bit of squeaky bum time to see if I can actually get to the recharge station. I'm not holding out too much hope, especially as I'm trying to. For the for the 3rd race in a row, I crash and explode. So this is a little bit further into my last attempt. You'll see I've got 0 lives here, so it's do or die effectively. So 2 laps to go. I'm in 3rd place. Let's see how this pans out. I avoid the explodey car and the other. Well, the other shell cars and the pizza and the exploding pizzas, and trying to hunt down the leader as it goes. At some point I'll get that corner right. Now this time round I do take into account that he's going to cut me up, so I was able just to deflect off him, but keep my foot down and keep advantage of the turbo boost. You get 1 turbo boost every lap, just gives you a decent push of speed and allows you to go through the sort of dark smudgy bits on the track, as you'll see there, which effectively function like gravel traps. So once again I'm into power down mode, so I've got to be really careful here. So thankfully they all took each other out, so I was able just about to get recharged and get back onto the battle in time for the final lap. So once again limit 3, which means I have to finish 3rd or higher, and you'll see there one of the flashing pink cars actually had pretty much stopped in the road. They do that from time to time just to keep you on your toes. Suddenly you'll be tootling along thinking nothing of it, and then bam, you'll have that right in the face. And it's annoying when it happens, and quite often it'll lead to another bout of pinball followed by your very, very swift demise. I was able just to glance round and get past that gaggle of back markers there, looking far too competent on that basis, and actually managed to pick up a pretty good lap as it stands. So as I get around here into the final corner, hit the boost, make sure there's nobody near me, and come home and take the win. So my thoughts on F-Zero: it's a fantastic game. Mode 7 graphics were the big selling point of this, which is why it has this sort of almost pseudo 3D effect going on, even though realistically it's no different to all the other games that had the car in a static place on the screen while the track moved around. But the way it rotated and scaled the pixels gives it a more up-to-date look. They used the same thing in Mario Kart and quite a few other titles. It was very much the technological marvel of the day. Sega didn't really have anything like it for quite some time until they went with the Virtual Racing series on the 32X and the Mega Drive, and that was really only the point where Sega got to grips with that sort of thing. So overall, still love F-Zero even after all this time. It's been 25 years since I first played this, and still love going back to it. This is on an emulator, by the way, because I've not worked out a way to capture from my Super Nintendo, but otherwise I do own the original, so thanks for checking, but also thanks very much for watching. I've been James Allen on Retro Racing Reviews, and thanks once again for your time. Bye!